What's up, kiddos? It is October 2nd, 2014, and the weather outside in the Southwest Desert is finally starting to feel joyous. Welcome back to Episode 7 of the Triple Stick Shooter Podcast, a twice-a-week independent podcast giving you your twice-a-week dose if I wasn't so lazy and could actually keep up with the twice-a-week schedule. Some good stuff we'll be talking about this week is Persona 4, the Golden Animation Finale, WWE NXT, WWE Monday Night Raw, XCom Enemy Unknown, Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright, and I'll give you a small preview for what to expect during my October Spooktacular. As always, I am your host and overlord of this podcast, Chris. Now that we have that settled, onto the Persona 4 finale. We start out at Narukami's going away party, because apparently he has the courage and strength to face demons who eat worlds, but can't ask his parents if he can stay in the town of Inaba instead of going back to the big city. Lots of hilarious madness ensues, such as Chie and Yukiko attempting to cook, which if you've seen Persona 4, any of it at all, you'll know that the only thing they can cook is poison. Anything they touch turns into poison, and it's bad. So, during the party, Narukami realizes that Marie is starting to disappear. It's kind of like in Back to the Future, where in Marty's picture, a hand starts to disappear, so it's not all at once. So, guess what? Remember when they totally saved Marie last episode? Yeah, they have to save her again. Fun. Once again, they go back into the mysterious TV world, which I thought was destroyed, but apparently not. And they have to go vanquish evil again. So, we come to find out that, to save the world, Marie has to fuse with another otherworld demon. That way the yin and yang would balance out. Or something like that. And there's this huge monologue. I kind of lost attention during it. And she disappears. 6 months later, Narukami comes back to Inaba to visit during summer vacation and sees all of his friends and how they have changed over the incredibly long 6-month period. When he is not around, they are basically headless chickens. Everyone has made just minor tweaks except for Kanji, who now has Zach Braff-esque black hair as opposed to his trademark blonde spikes. They have a big party and everyone who counts is there, sans Marie. Then, we suddenly cut to a weather report. And it is none other than Marie as the weather girl, back in corporeal form, giving the weather report. And by that I mean creating the weather. She has ultimate control over the forecast in Inaba. So yeah, she's basically a weather god. And after she gets done with the 5-day forecast, she confesses her love for Narukami on the air, much to the dismay of Rise. Yep, Rise ain't getting none of that. And the series concludes. Overall, I liked it. The first half was pure fan service, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as it is not entertaining and insulting. I'm looking at you, High School of the Dead. Once you hit the Adachi episode, then everything starts to pay off. So overall, I give this series, as a whole, 1.5 Batista thumbs. If you have no idea what Persona 4 is at all, I suggest, and you want to know more about it, I suggest watching the core Persona 4 animation first before jumping to the Golden, because the Golden is kind of a filler for, well, not filler, but I'm not really sure how to say it. Anyway, if you watch Golden without knowing anything about Persona 4, you're going to be confused. So, go check it out. Both are on Hulu. Golden is on Crunchyroll, and both are streaming on various illicit websites that you can find on Google. Any of those work. Or Amazon. Persona 4, the core one's on Amazon. Alright, so no more Persona until Thanksgiving. Kind of a Persona drought, and I'm sad about it. Anyway, next up, WWE NXT. Not much to say. It was solid, but not much stood out, mainly because on the same day NXT had their live tapings. They tape a month in advance to help keep the budget lower, so they tape 5 or 6 shows at once. On the taping that is going to air in early November, Irish wrestling sensation Finn Balor, aka Prince Devitt, makes his much anticipated debut, and the crowd went nuts. He helped out his good buddy Hideo Itami against the Ascension. I'm hoping this will lead up to an NXT pay-per-view match before the Ascension make their jump to Raw. The show that did air on WWE Network was okay. Not much was noteworthy, honestly, other than Kalisto and Sin Cara defending against the Ascension in another solid match. Overall, I give NXT a solid Batista thumb up. Next to bat, WWE Monday Night Raw, aka The Dean Ambrose Show, because that is pretty much all I'm going to talk about. So, let's back up real fast. Dean Ambrose stole the Money in the Bank briefcase from Seth Rollins last Friday on SmackDown and is currently in possession of it. Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury have been tasked by the Authority to search for Dean Ambrose all over the building, and they fail in hilarious fashion. I love these guys. Hopefully they get more screen time. This leads up to Dean Ambrose revealing himself as he makes his way to the ring. He has stolen lots and lots of merchandise and goes Robin Hood by throwing hundreds and hundreds of dollars of free t-shirts into the crowd. And even the duffel bag he was carrying was thrown into the crowd. That guy's amazing. After all of that chaos, he graciously leaves the ring to let Seth Rollins take back his Money in the Bank briefcase. As Seth opens it, just to make sure all the contents are in order, a mysterious green goo shoots out. I'd like to think that somehow Ambrose found a way to stuff Tajiri in that briefcase. Later in the night, Ambrose teams up with John Cena. John Cena. Yeah, I know. To go up against Randy Orton and Corporate Kane. After getting beat up for 12 minutes, I am not exaggerating, I counted, he got beat up for 12 minutes, John Cena finally tags in Ambrose, and Ambrose goes to town on Kane and Orton in an impressive flurry of offense that includes crossbodies and suicide dives. Just as he is about to get the pin, Seth Rollins comes from out of nowhere and attacks Ambrose, and the Authority close out the show looking dominant over Cena and Ambrose. So overall, pretty good Dean Ambrose show. Some non-Dean Ambrose notes. Luke Harper seems to be getting Let me try that again. Luke Harper seems to be getting a singles push, which is fantastic to see. And it looks like Bray Wyatt might be somewhat a manager's position in this, which will be pretty cool. Stardust and Goldust had a great backstage promo, and if you actually listen to what they say, it's funny and it makes sense. Hilarity. And Damien Mizdow, as always, is gold. So that's all the stuff I care to talk about. The Dean Ambrose show gets a solid Batista thumbs up. Alright, on to my own personal white whale, XCom Enemy Unknown. Unfortunately, dear viewers, once again I have failed in the final mission. I went back to an earlier save, which loses about 2 hours of game time, which is fine. I went back so I could do some more prep, such as build mind helmets, so that the damn aliens can't control my soldiers. That is very important if you decide to play the game. Once the mind helmets have been researched, get them, otherwise you're going to be screwed. Let me think. Anyway, it is a really good game, and an unforgiving one at that. You make a mistake, and 9 times out of 10, the game will punish you harshly. And every time I messed up, I never thought I was screwed over. It was always my fault when something happened. And it just punishes you, which is funny and horrible. I really like the ambient sound when no music is playing. Lots of times you'll have to shoot down a UFO inside a foresty landscape, and you'll hear a mix of alien sounds and trees rustling in the wind, and that gives it a really cool, creepy, classic horror movie vibe. I really like that. And the music itself is pretty good, always fitting the atmosphere and mood. And obviously the gameplay, the reason why you're playing it is amazing. It is turn-based combat, and it is always fun. Your entire squad gets to move, and then the entire alien squad moves. So you can use your strategic positioning instead of having one soldier go and then one alien go, which would be annoying. You get a good variety of soldiers, ranging from heavy gunners to snipers to medics to assault, and you can customize your squad's ability to fit your gameplay needs. And you can also customize your squad, which is cool. When you get a new recruit, they come pre-packaged with a name and physical appearance, both of which you can customize to see how you see fit. It really is a great game and easy to get into if you are a strategy game fan. I'm not really a strategy game fan, and I really love it. I like strategy board games, but strategy video games I suck at. I give it 2 Batista thumbs up. It is on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. I personally recommend it on the PC just because of the way the UI works out, and it's just easier to control that way. And it's pretty cheap. It's been out for a while. You can catch it on the cheap. Probably a Steam sale on PC. Next up is Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright on the 3DS. This game should have been the most amazing thing ever, because I am a huge Professor Layton fan and I really like the Ace Attorney games. My problem is that this game feels Ace Attorney heavy instead of being a good balance, which wouldn't be bad because I really do like the Ace Attorney games. But the courtroom battles got very tedious. Very, very, very tedious after a couple hours on the same case. And I really wanted to quit. I'm halfway through the game. I've played 15 hours so far, and I do plan on finishing it, but I feel like I can give it an accurate review. I really like the voice acting. It's appropriate and very good. One thing that doesn't annoy me, but may annoy you, is that they just straight up imported the British version of the game. So you got British spelling. So you got random O's and U's where they shouldn't be. This is America. We don't do that crap here. Anyway, other than that, the voice acting and the text, the translation's pretty good. The animation is real smooth other than a few frame rate drops every once in a while, but that crap doesn't matter because it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. The Professor Layton puzzles are there, but feel extremely easy, and they don't feel punishing. Well, I shouldn't say punishing, but they don't feel like I do a puzzle and I don't feel like I accomplished something, which is the antithesis of the core Professor Layton games, which have some hard puzzles. I'm looking at you, matchsticks. And like I said, the courtroom battles are tedious because they are easy, which is why I'm getting so bored in them. I mean, I like the game, but it should have been so much more than it is. I give it 1 Batista thumb up. I don't regret buying it, but I can only recommend it to the most hardcore Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney fans. You gotta be in that Venn diagram of both to really enjoy this game. Alright, that'll do it for reviews. Just a quick shout out. That song you heard at the top of the broadcast is The Past Inside the Present by Is and Of The. Check it out at mushrecords.com. Speaking of music, I will eventually get around to a Cassette Store Day episode, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Should be fun. I might have a special co-host for that, so check that out when I eventually get to it. It'll be cool. And also, it is October, which means besides the wondrous weather outside, it is my October Spooktacular. Triple Stick Shooter will be the Triple Stick Spooktacular. I'm gonna review a lot of classic horror movies you may never heard of, the few horror games that I can actually finish without wimping out, and other horror things like Lovecraft short stories and possibly even some horror comic books. I got Sandman and Lock and Key in my backlog, so maybe I'll go do that. And as always, anything I review, unless it's wrestling, because wrestling can kind of suck sometimes, but I'll still talk about it, gets my approval, so I will not be talking about anything I deem that is not worth your time. So, one more. I got a lot of notes here. Another note, my best friend Ethan is starting his own YouTube show called Lightning Strikes Twice Gaming. Link in the description. It is an improv Let's Play show. And now, I know what you're thinking, loyal viewers. Let's Players are nothing but dirty thieves who don't have an original bone in their body, so they just Mystery Science Theater 3000 over popular games in hopes of finding an easily amused audience. And you'd be correct in that assumption, but this is my friend's channel, so it's totally cool and not lame, and he is not a thief at all. Well, actually, he might be a Mexican apple thief, but that's a different story. I think that'll do it for this episode. Kind of a short one. But next episode will be great, I guarantee it. Gonna shoot for 25 minutes. Got a classic. I'll probably start with the silent horror and work my way up. Who knows? Not a guarantee, but I'm gonna try that. Go ahead and subscribe to this wonderful channel. Leave a comment. Use those thumbs down there to tell me how you feel. Alright, I was Chris, and I'll see you next time on the Triple Stick Halloween Spooktacular. Peace.